Hey Aries, welcome to my channel. It's December, guys. That means I have been working doing this channel for a year now. That's pretty cool. I'm loving that. Oh, you probably can't hear me. My mic's too far away. Sorry about that, guys. So I'm doing something a little bit different. I kind of just go with what I'm drawn to. If you've been following me for the whole year, you will know that I don't really have a plan whenever I do my readings. It's all about trust and flow, trusting in my intuition, even to guide me on how I'm going to read them. Interesting. So yeah, they're a little bit interesting. It's a little bit of a mixture of cards. I'm using all of these oracles for during the reading, really. And then I'm using 2 tarot decks for the main read. I hate saying the names of all cards because I cannot. I'm really terrible with names. Terrible with names of things and people. But yeah, I think it's Sasuraibito. I don't know, it's Japanese. Different languages is not my forte. I can recognize accents, dialogue that way. Anywhere in the world I can sort of go, okay, I think you're kind of, that's like, you know, Taiwanese or something kind of accent. But the language itself is not really a strong suit. Okay. And then, so I've got much space here that I'm working with. As you can tell, I'm kind of in a different situation, which the wall, it's a nightmare, basically. The lighting in here, it is a little bit difficult to work with, but we're doing what we can. It's Christmas almost, and I have kind of packing boxes and Christmas boxes and all sorts all over the place. So I'm kind of crammed in here with not much room to go. These cards are so beautiful. They're kind of rose gold. You can't see. Rose gold trims. These are the Crystal Realm. Yeah, Crystal Realms Oracle. Okay, let's begin. Oh, interesting. Okay. So Aries. We are Mars retrograde at the moment. That is basically, I'm seeing this all over. And Aries, this came up for all of the air signs as well. So I feel like this is very related to that kind of energy that's in the air. And it literally says, don't let pride get in your way, full moon in Leo. Okay, so I feel as though there's a lot of stubbornness in the air at the moment. Let me see what's giving me for you. So there's a lot of stubbornness in there, which means that you may be having conflict or just kind of reacting to people coming from a place of pride. So instead of it being genuine kind of reaction, you may feel fuel. I do sense this in interactions that I have, and even specifically with an Aries. And I feel like it's kind of as though instead of, like, you know, I don't know how to word this. It's like when you interact with people and what people say gets your defenses up straight away. So, for example, say someone jokes with you, but instead of seeing the humor in it, you might snap and see it as a seriousness. Like when someone, for example, I've got ginger hair now. If someone said something to me like about it, like a negative thing about being a ginger, they might be playing and messing around. But in Mars retrograde, I may be quite sensitive to that, and I would, in this, for this example, take it to heart and snap and be defensive and say something kind of snappy back, right? That's the kind of energy I feel that's in the air. And I really do feel like as a fire sign, it's perhaps going to come out a little bit more than it would perhaps other signs that have different levels of control, because you are fire, your passion. So be aware of that. And again, don't let pride get in your way. So let me have a look what this could specifically be for you, Aries. I am definitely feeling sensitivity here for you. I kind of feel like it feels like as in when someone's being too sensitive, and you know, so, or when you're feeling too sensitive, sorry, and it makes you feel a little bit like sulky, like everybody's being mean to me. It has that kind of feel to me. That's what I'm seeing in this lion in the card for you. Slightly different to how I read it for the earth signs. And I get this sense of it kind of just putting you in kind of that kind of sensitive thing. So be aware of how you're feeling and why, and be aware of, again, Mars retrograding. anything that retrogrades for a reason. It's supposed to bring things out of you that kind of need to be seen. So be aware of that. What are you feeling? Why are you feeling it? But also, sometimes it could just be, you are heightenedly sensitive to these energies. And it being Mars, I don't know if it is ruled by Aries. I'm not very good in my astrology of remembering everything. But I kind of feel as though it may be a ruling planet for you guys. And, so it's going to bring up a lot of that fire, that temper, quick to temper. So be aware of that. And don't think prideful. And I do think if somebody is hurting you, but not intentionally, kind of look at it like is this person unintentionally, do they mean to be saying these things that are hurting me, or am I just a little bit sensitive to their words? And kind of communicate it in a more a more mature way. If you let someone know, like, I'm feeling really sensitive right now, and can you, not? That's much more better than snapping at them for something they said, right? I feel like that will be beneficial. And this kind of goes with that. So we have patience, green corn moon. So again, be patient. And that means with others too. I definitely feel the sense of you, again, with the temper. It feels as though it is impatience. It's kind of quick to feeling your feels. So be aware of that. And I feel like you could be in this kind of mist of your feels during this time. I don't feel like it's negative as such. It just feels as though, and this is why I feel it's brooding. And I do feel as though, like, maybe you just feel like being that way for a little bit. Like, I just want to be kind of brooding. That's okay. That's fine. Feel how you feel. Experience how you want to experience your life in the world, right? But yeah, I feel like you have a vision of where you want to be. I mean, I feel like this moody broodingness is just not going to get, like, that's kind of not, it's not stopping you. I just feel like it's stopping you from experiencing where you're going, like the journey. It makes it less enjoyable, that kind of vibe here. But I get this sense of you having a lot of fun times. I do feel like maybe you cannot appreciate the good times that you're having. Perhaps things are too much, like, that you're overdoing it maybe. I don't really feel like that for all of you. I just feel as though you can't enjoy these moments for some reason. It's like something is missing, or like, and it's like something within the future. It's like something you're working towards is what you're desiring the most, and you kind of want that now. So even though, you're in this moment celebrating socialness, your vision is in the future, and it's kind of like you want that now. So you're kind of stuck in your feels. That's how I'm reading this card for you. But I do feel like you have a lot of good times at the moment. A lot of social, very outgoing. I do feel as though, okay, it's like this is the vibe I'm getting. I feel like perhaps you're doing the same old, and it's just not resonating with who you are now, or it's not really exactly what you want to be doing. So maybe you're doing something out of duty or tradition, and you're changing. The world is shifting. We're all kind of coming into ourselves, and perhaps things you used to do is not the person who you are today. This really resonates with that. But have patience. Do not be critical of yourself. Don't stick in that wallowing of self-pity that I'm kind of sensing on here. If you don't like something, change it. But be patient. You are kind of growing into this. And sometimes growing into something comes with either growing pains, or it comes with this kind of periods of taking your time, slowing down, living in the moment, but making small changes. I do get this sense of you needing to make changes that are beneficial to your life, of where you're going, because I feel like, again, that this has been with you for a while. I've been kind of stuck with what like kind of holding on to something sentimentally, I guess, like a way of being, like, this is how it's always done and it's comfy, and you don't like the change. And I feel like that's why now you actually want the change, but it's getting over that hurdle. So be patient, take your time. There is no need to rush through this either. Bring love into the situation. New moon in Aquarius. Okay, interesting. So I definitely feel like you need to not be so hard on yourself, and offering yourself the self-love side of things. I really get this, again, because it feels wallowy. It feels as though you're choosing, not necessarily choosing, but for some of you I do think it's a choice, or like you are feeling it but you're like, I don't want to get out of it. I do feel like that kind of stubbornness with this, and that could be the pride of the lion. But it's like bringing the self-love here. Stop talking yourself down. Stop beating yourself up for things that maybe you can't change, or that's just taking you a while to change. Maybe you are not liking that you're resistant to something. And it's kind of this inner trauma. And again, that's Mars retrograde. It's kind of conflicts within as well. That's what I feel it sort of does to us. It brings out our fire, our passion, and that, like, we are the center of our lives, so of course we're going to aim some of that passion at ourselves. So yeah, bring some love, and I do feel like cool down, chill, calm down. You've got patience and you've got bring love into the situation, and it feels as though it's a flowing. I feel like you need to really embrace the joy that this season can bring, that this time of year can bring, and the happiness within that. I feel like you have buckets of it. You just have to swim in it. Interesting analogy there. Swimming in the joy. Your new beginnings. So next year, I do feel like this is leading on to the new year, like walking through a new door. I feel like you are ready to close chapters. And it's like leaving something behind and moving forward. And it's like walking through the door. So if you see this imagery, it literally is a gate. Yeah, new moon beginnings. It's a gate. And on the other side, it's all alive and fresh and new. The grass has just grown. The trees are bearing leaves. And on the side that you are now is ice and frozen. And I feel like it's kind of like indicating, you know, the tides are turning. Your cycles are ending. And ending is, yeah, we can feel like, oh my God, it's scary. But it's not. You're going from the cold of what was into the warmth of what will be and what is. And I really feel that for you. I do feel it's kind of nostalgic to where you've been because it's got you to where you are today. And I want you to show gratitude to that. We're at that time of year where we've just had, I believe, Thanksgiving in the US. And it's a time of year where we give thanks because it's the Christmas, the festive seasons. And nearly every single religion celebrates something around this time of year from September to February, where we're coming in. Sorry, something just popped on my screen. I want to make sure you're still recording. Yeah. Where we are giving thanks, we are kind of letting go of the old and into the new. We start cleaning our houses in order for the New Year's and that kind of thing. And I'm getting this sense of you really coming into new beginnings, of things being new and different. I do get the sense of it being really internally as well. And I feel like that's where this needs to come out into your world and not just stay internal. And I've just thrown cards all over with my passionate arms. But yeah, I feel like you need to bring out what you feel on the inside now because that's changed. I feel like really the last 2-3 years has changed you as a person, your values, your core belief system, just something needs to really be brought into your life next. But patience and slowly. There is no ripping off of band-aids and going, hey, this is the new me. If you feel that's right for you, go do it. Go big. Loving that energy. But I do feel that that's not how like most of you are feeling. I feel like this is something to ease into, something that you're ready to do, but again, need to do in your own time, which is really cool. Okay, we have, so how I do this reading is very weird. I'm just going to go with it. It makes sense to you because I'm just going to tell you the guidance. You don't need to know the technical. So we have the Ace of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles. Now they are in the reverse position. Let me see what this feels like for you guys. Okay, so I do feel like there is this need to sit back and kind of reevaluate things. I feel as though there's things in terms of career, in terms of the way, when I say sometimes career, like for me, when I get this kind of, it sometimes feels like everyday life as well. It's the thing that we, that brings us abundance. And abundance is not just financial. It is something that brings us what, you know, our core value of what matters. So sometimes that's love, sometimes that's family, that's surrounding by friends and people. But I feel here, whatever it is that is the gold coin to you, right? Something that means everything to you, your aspirations, this is something you need to sit back and really think on. What do you want from your life? Where do you want to be in 5-10 years? I really get this sense of checking in on where you want to be, and not rushing into anything. And I feel like you are at this space where that's where you're at. You're thinking, where do I want to go now? What do I want? Because the space that you're in, to me, feels as though it's closing chapters. And so now you're at this point where it may feel confusing with all the energies in this year. Like even myself, like I like security. I'm a Taurus. I'm an earth sign. I like to kind of know where I'm going, and obviously being intuitive as well. If I cannot see what's ahead, it kind of gives me anxiety. So I'm like, why can't I know at least something? Like, is everything going to be okay? And obviously I know it's going to be, but it's just that grasping. And this is kind of the feel I feel is a little bit of frustration for you guys, because this time of year we're just getting nothing. It's like, you have to enjoy the ride. You have to live in the now. That's what it's saying. And I feel like this is now you understanding that and kind of thinking, okay, so I have this urge to do. I have this urge to move forward. I'm not sure where. Think on that. And that's kind of what I get with this. I feel as though you have an idea and it feels warm and lovely. But I do feel as though you don't have kind of it's set in stone. Like there's nothing solid where you think this is what I definitely want. This is why I feel like there's not a rush. I do get this sense of wanting kind of the warm fuzzy stuff. I feel like as in family, friends, this is a really kind of important. I feel like you want this balance more, or to bring something of that kind of essence to be at the forefront of your aspirations. Perhaps you have been career driven your whole life, and you've got to that space where you're comfortable there. So now you're trying to think, how can I turn this dynamic to having a family life now? That's kind of what I'm feeling here. So the crossing energy of these cards is the Queen of Swords. Definitely take your time. I feel like you need to know exactly what you want and then take decisive action. I feel as though you need to be the ones to speak the words to make things happen. You're driving, and that is very common through all the readings I've done so far. That has been the thing, like you've got to drive your own life during this time. Uranus is in Taurus, which means anything that's core value of something that really means our world, is our foundation of what we want, that's going to kind of feed our soul. That's where we're going to go for freedom and independence in that direction. The home life, the comforts, think of a Taurus, myself, and what is their essence. If we think of a Taurus of like subjectively or objectively, whatever, we think comfort food, we think snuggly, we think luxury, values, loyalty. It's all those things that kind of give you home and comfort and joy. That's where your independence and freedom, where you will feel the most loving. So that could be anything for you. That could be your career. This gives you joy, fulfillment, if you're a very motivated kind of soul. And it could be family. It could be being around people who you love, being in the comforts of friends who have become family. I just feel like you need to be a driving force to make sure that you are doing what you need to do. And I keep being drawn back to the communication. I feel like you need to communicate what you want with the universe, with the world, and kind of, again, I feel bringing that into your life, not just keeping it inside of you. You need to make it come out into the world, because I do get this sense of whatever this is, it's not like it is. This is what you're coming into, so it's not here now. You haven't created it yet, but I feel like you are in those works of it happening, but it feels as though it's not in your life. You haven't brought it into kind of fruition right now. And you're being guided to. Definitely some kind of communication. It's like kind of whisper this into your world. And when I say whisper, I get this sense again. You don't need to rush into it, but you need to be the one to make it happen. Where we're going with this energy, moving from the Ace of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles, you have a lot of Pentacles. So there's a lot of bringing substance into your life is what I want to say for you guys. I feel a lot of changes coming for you, actually. And that doesn't really show here. It's just what I'm feeling. Nine of Pentacles in reverse we have here. feel like trusting in yourself. And I feel as though you might kind of be concerned of what it could mean for you financially with a change. I feel as though there's going to be something moving forward where you might be like, but what does that mean for me financially? Intuitively, I feel like everything would be fine, and wherever you go, you're going to be perfectly fine with that. But that's not shown here. That's just me a feel for you. We next have the Seven of Wands, and it is again reversed. And I feel as though like you have everything already. There's nothing that you need to do to change, and like that's not how I want to say this. It's like there's nothing that you need. So you don't need to, for example, sometimes we go, okay, so this is what I do. So I need to, okay, I'm going to use this analogy. It works. Say you want to go on holiday in 6 months' time, and you're like, I can't book it because I'm not financially secure. So I'm going to need to make sure that I have $5,000 so that I can go and I don't need to worry. Everything's all paid for, whatever. And then you're okay, and then, but then I'm going to need to have a case, and I'm going to need to have this, or I need to make sure I can, it's like kind of as though you worry that there's all these things you need to do before you can even book that. I don't feel like this is the guidance. I'm just trying to explain on how I feel like this. It's like you don't need anything. What you are going for, this is saying like you already have all these things in place because of the life you've led up to now has prepared you for the life that you want next. Because I really feel like it's literally going from one life to another life, which is really strange, and how I'm feeling that here. And I feel like this is confirmation moving forward that you do have everything you need. There's not somebody else who needs to help tell you what to do. There's not anything you need to set in stone. It's literally just you making this come into your life. It's you taking action, and it does feel like it's action that's needed and not things, not kind of stepping stones. It's about you being ready. Very interesting on how I read those. Just seeing if there's anything else coming through of these for you. So I'm loving that you have all these queens as well. I feel as though you're at this point again where you are ready. And we've got, this stepping stone to change. I really feel as though you're literally on the brink of kind of bringing something into your life that you've been waiting for a long time. We have the Wheel of Fortune up here in reverse. Oh, I just lost a shoe. Okay. I kind of feel a very feminine energy with this. I get this sense of your look in nurture and kind of love, I feel, is changing, as in a very positive. I feel as though you've always kind of just, I want to say it feels as though, so how this is going to go, it feels as though you've just fallen into kind of relationships or experience like friendships, relationships where it's kind of like, kind of gone from a friendship to just being like, oh, now we're together. And I feel like that's sort of changing for you and changed for you, that what you have coming for you or what's here, because this is kind of more towards where you're heading again. I feel like that's changed somewhere here, and it's more very vulnerable, more loving, more nurturing, more supportive than what you've had before. I feel as though whatever in love you've had previously, again, that's not really been supportive roles. It's kind of as though you've just fallen into relationships with each other. And I feel as though, even though you may have felt like, I'm not saying you didn't love them or they didn't love you, it's like there's difference now too. It's like that was out of convenience, whereas this is actually genuine feelings, genuine emotions, have something of substance. It's like a whole change, a flip of where you are, and it feels like a really good turn of events for you. Like this is what you've been kind of hoping for. The crossing energy, and this crosses with that Queen. We have, okay, loving that. So we have the Queen of Pentacles, and then we have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Now, all of your cards are really reversed on your main read other than your crossing energies. And this is why I feel as though you're in this kind of moment of stillness. And this can feel kind of frustrating, I guess, in these moments of change when we're on the brink of it. And so you're going through that kind of nitty-gritty where it can feel a bit uneasy. You may not even understand the vibes you're feeling. It's that kind of energy here because it's like something's changing. We have the King of Pentacles. It's saying you are going to achieve what you desire. Like, it's about kind of having a vision and heading towards it. The King of Pentacles is generous, he's reliable, and with this coming with that love, it definitely feels, if this is in relation to love, guys, that the person that you are wanting to be with, the person you are with, your partner, whatever these turn of events that are happening for you for this year, it's leading towards someone who's reliable, generous, and I want to say kind of has a very good imagination, maybe spiritual. I just feel as though they are generally a connected, good person, and bring out the best in you. And then, so with that Queen of Pentacles, she was giving me this vibe of kind of wanting this love, this nurture that kind of makes you feel protected, makes you feel snuggly. I don't know why it gave me that kind of feel, and I feel like that's what you're getting in this King of Pentacles. And the King of Pentacles as well, again, because I'm reading Pentacles for you of value and not necessarily income, I do feel as though you're going income-wise perfectly fine. I get this sense of you being anxious and concerned about financials in here, but it's, the cards are reading, it's going to be fine. Because this here, I feel as though this is saying that all that you desire is coming from this, from where you're heading right now, from the actions, from you communicating, from you saying exactly what you want. That's getting you towards this loyalty, this growing, this thing. I feel like the person is this leader if you are in regards to love. Now, if this is in regards to more, if your aspirations are more driven elsewhere, I am really getting this sense of fuzzies, but I can see that within career-wise, it's saying that it's going to bring you what you desire out of that career. So if it's fulfillment of joy in what you do, that's coming from this. If it's financially, because you're doing what you want to do purely for the finances, because some of us work for that reason, that's what you're going to get from it. It's kind of like, it just feels very solid, very grounding, and very fertile. Interesting. Now we're going to the Queen of Wands in reverse. You've literally had the Queen of Wands, the Queen of Swords, the Queen of... So you haven't had the Pentacles. That's quite interesting. Okay, let me read this. I do feel like with this Queen of Wands, there's something, again, an action that you need to take to grow something. I feel as though sometimes you may be feeling like you want somebody else to kind of tell you what to do. I'm getting this vibe. But it's like, I feel it's within you. I feel as though you need to embrace something, and it's like enjoying the process. And taking your time and relaxing into wherever you're going. I'm reading these cards very, very strangely. It's just coming out of me like this. It's quite cool. And I get this sense of you holding on to something as well. I feel like you really want this. You really do, and I feel like that's what makes you feel kind of not insecure, but kind of anxious, and like, because it's like, well, am I worthy of this? Or just something in there that's making you question something. And we have the Infinity. I feel like this is soulmate energy, what you're working with here. And I definitely feel like you are attracting a soulmate. Now, again, if you're not looking for love, this really could be friendship. I feel like there could just be someone beneficial for you. But I'm getting a lot of love vibes for you, Aries. I really feel as though this soulmate connection is really coming through. As I said, friend, I do feel like for one or some of you, this really could indicate that there's somebody that's going to help you in this endeavor. So if you are all about kind of growing a career or education or something during this time, I feel like there's a soulmate that you will meet through this that is going to help bring you to where you need to be, like next level you up. And I feel like they're reliable, trustworthy, and very generous kind of teacher as well with this. Yeah, definitely somebody that's been with you before during in regards to this. I get this kind of ancestral kind of yeah, soulmate. Been with each other before, you've seen each other before, you connect really easily, and it's kind of is a relief as well, I guess, is what I'm feeling with this person. Okay, in your future position, so we have Wheel of Fortune in reverse again, and we also have the Devil card in reverse. Very interesting. Okay, so I feel like this is generally breaking of patterns. Your look changed, and it's kind of allowing you to release the demons in you that kind of you probably toyed with for a while. I feel like this really is opening yourself up and kind of dropping the bad habits. So I'm going to touch on, in regards to relationships, how this applies. And I feel as though, again, in regards to relationships, it's completely opposite to what you would normally go for, what you would be in. And it's kind of you breaking patterns. It breaks you out of the cycles of the same mistakes you were always making. So, for example, say, yeah, you just fell into relationships. The feelings weren't that intense. It kind of was situationship-ish. And then so it never lasted, and I guess I feel as though, when we have bad habits and patterns, we blame ourselves. I feel as though that's like, this is the look changing here. You've released yourself of these cycles. And perhaps this is the moment you're walking through the door when you've realized that this is different. Things have changed, and I don't have the urges that I did before, because I do feel safe and secure within this dynamic, which is really great. I also feel like, again, this Wheel of Fortune is literally, I feel as though you really are shifting and changing from one thing to another. Ooh, I've got lipstick on my hand. And it's like the seasons change. I feel like you literally are just moving on from the past. And I feel like this may keep changing for you, like as in you have your feet like, yeah, I've walked through a door, and then another door opens, and another door opens. I feel like it's going to keep happening for you guys. Over this next year or two. It definitely feels, again, I'm getting kind of directional. You're on a path and you have a direction towards something, and I feel as though it's kind of like tides are changing, and I feel like it's just shifting. It's weird how I'm really reading these, especially with them being in the reversal position. I don't specifically have a way that I read anyway. It's how I intuitively intuit it. But it's just kind of, I get this, it's making me draw as though it could literally just keep doing this, is how I'm kind of seeing it. But currently I feel as though like your world may kind of be shifted upside down, because that's what has to happen, because things need to change. But it's a very positive feeling. I do not feel negativity towards this. It feels kind of exciting, and I feel like actually it could incite you on the inside, as though even if it does feel overwhelming, you're kind of excited though, because you see where you're heading, you see what it's doing, as long as you're paying attention, or else it can feel like a bit like a roller coaster when things like that happen. Anyway, with the Devil card, I definitely feel you releasing your fears, and I feel as though maybe you feel that you can take risks again, that maybe over the last few years and prior to this, I feel as though I want to say you lost a spark, that you felt like you weren't yourself anymore. I feel like that's just releasing from you, and you can fully start embracing yourself and who you are, which is awesome, Aries. I'm loving that. I am Aries moon and rising. No, moon, sorry, not rising. So I'm loving to hear these things as well for me. Okay, final 3 cards, Aries. Crystals that could be beneficial to you during this time. We have aragonite, I have this, moonstone, have this, and turquoise. Okay. Initiation, you're definitely things are changing, you're growing, you're evolving. Initiation is all about kind of spiritual growth, and kind of being initiated into your next level, next phase of life. You've got transcendence by side of that, like you are transcending. So things are changing. You are really growing soul level, growing as a person, and I get this sense of things changing really rapidly within your favor. This feels really good. Perseverance. So keep going. When we are going through transformations and when things are changing a lot around us, it can be kind of tough. But you have to persevere through the tough times if you want the good stuff. As they say, good things don't come easy. And I definitely get this sense for you of if you want something, you really do need to work on it. And Aries, you are the sign that has this passion to, if you want something, you can go and get it. So remember that. Remember that passion and persevere. You can do anything that you want to do if you put your mind to it. I feel like your mum. I am a mum, and my dad always said that to me, and my mum, I suppose, as well. You can put your mind to anything as long as you can get in. Right. You know what I'm saying. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied in all my words. But basically, go for it. I'm getting kind of, again, drawn to doorways. I do feel like opportunities are going to come to you. So, yeah, have some fun. Enjoy the ride. Thank you so much, Aries. Please subscribe to my channel for any updates. I am hoping to have some bonus readings for December if I can slot them in my busy single mom lifestyle. But yeah, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next month. Thank you, guys.